Well, as of today, 2015, my speaker collection is pretty big. Some of these speakers have problems, but a lot of them are working perfectly, and some of them I've repaired. I've actually got a lot more than this. I've got all these. I've got those down there that I'm actually just temporarily using for my grandmother in my closet, and I also got these General Electric speakers, and I got some speakers down in the living room, and a lot more. So, section is all my speaker drivers. This is all my cabinet speakers. I'm actually gonna make a bigger updated video of my cabinet speakers, and but this is just a video for my speaker drivers. So, I guess we'll start over here. Here's a Altec 6-inch subwoofer that came out of a PC speaker system. It's a paper cone, foam surround, paper dust cap. It has a nice port at the end. It's actually in the original enclosure, and it's pretty neat. It's actually it's more like a horn-loaded enclosure because it has this kind of rectangular port like you see in PA cabinets. So here's a RCA 5-inch subwoofer. It came out of an old set of bookshelf speakers that I have. I actually have the matching tweeters to these. Right there. Right there. That was the matching tweeters to this and that, which I put in the enclosure. It's in an Office Max cardboard box. This is just temporary, but it's got a nice large magnet for that thing. And it's also got an aluminum cone, much like a 4-inch Dayton woofer. Use aluminum cones. I believe that this is very tough, very robust aluminum. Alright. Here's a pair of Altec 3-inch speakers. They have a cloth surround, paper cone, paper dust cap, cloth spider, shielded magnet, very large, but not quite as large as this one. 4 ohms, 001216 is the serial number, 82156, and I have the other one. Here's a Kenwood 4-inch full-range speaker. Yes, this is a full-range speaker. Came out of an old center channel that I had, but it broke. And it's got a nice foam surround. Actually, no, that's cloth surround. Paper cone, paper dust cap, cloth spider, and it's also got a very big shielded magnet, much bigger than this one. Yeah, if I have a size comparison, there it is. And it's actually it is shielded magnet. Anything, if you see a metal cup on these speakers, it will be a shielded magnet, but if you take these metal cups off, it will just be a regular speaker. It will look kind of like this. But anyway, let's go over here. Here's a set of 1-inch speakers that actually, the cones aren't aluminum, it's actually just shiny plastic glued onto the paper. But anyway, there's a paper cone underneath here that kind of acts as a dust cap in a way. If you ever see one of these and you think, oh, it's an aluminum cone, it's actually just shiny plastic. It's got a foam surround. I don't know the resistance of these. They don't even give you a marking. But they came out of a portable speaker that was absolute cheap, $5 at a Big Lot store. And would not make noise at all. But anyways, here is a small mini Suntar 3-watt 4-ohm speaker. It also is the same thing. It's actually just a shiny plastic cone over the regular paper cone, but it's actually a really big magnet. It's very strong. It's actually got this insulation material on it for because there's actually a piece of insulation on this out of the portable speaker that it came out of. Alright. Here is a set of Easttech 3-inch drivers that came out of a Magnavox center channel speaker. Unfortunately, this one shorted out somewhere. It's not blown, as you can hear. There's no voice coil rubbing. But I think one of the the voice coil leads shorted out inside or whatever. But anyway, there's the cone. It's actually a plastic cone. I replaced both with token dust caps, as seen in my video. Very big and shielded magnet, 16 ohms, 25 watts. These were made for Magnavox by Easttech. Speaker 224 has a bunch of these drivers, has a cloth surround. Quite neat. Here's an SD 8 ohms, half-watt speaker. It came with a parts kit that I had, was supplied by Radio Shack. You can get them at Radio Shack. It's got a paper surround, paper cone. It's got a paper dust cap. Yeah, it's a paper dust cap. Because I know that a lot of the times these dust caps are filled. There's the magnet. It's very small, but make it a good project speaker. Here's a bit larger version to this one. It says a Panasonic Matsushita 8 ohm 0.5 watt speaker. It's a half watt max. It's actually very low power rating. Here's a Sony woofer, which is not shielded. That's got a ceramic magnet. It's got a cloth spider, very tall voice coil former, paper cone, rubber surround, paper dust cap. It came out of a Sony boombox speaker. I actually had the other one over there. I actually had two woofers. So here's a Sony tweeter. It's a paper cone tweeter. It's a closed back, and plus tweeters don't require vents anyways. They don't move a lot of air, of course, because they produce high frequencies. This is what I don't like about when companies glue on extra ferrite cores onto the regular magnets. It's kind of stupid how they do that. But here's the cone. It's actually a very big magnet for a tweeter. I assume you could have this on like a... I'm assuming this produces up to 20 kilohertz. And it actually came with this little neat face plug. Alright. Let's go over here. Here's a set of vintage General Electric speakers. They have a paper cone, paper surround. They have a plastic dust cap. This one's kind of dented. I actually had to pull that out. Not the best pulling job, but they have a cloth spider. Actually, it might be a paper spider, not sure. I don't know much about spiders, but 8 ohms, 3 watts. Part number is C12K21. Let's go over here. Okay. Here's a pair of NuTone intercom speakers that actually came out of a NuTone intercom speaker system. They have a felt dust cap, paper cone, paper surround, cloth spider, very tiny magnet, 1 ohms, made in Taiwan, and very neat. I have the other one. The original speaker was the third one was lost. These and that one came out of Well, actually, they came out of nothing. They were actually just bare drivers I bought on Amazon. They're Legacy LS328 120-watt car speakers. They're 4 ohms each. They are coaxial. They're two-way. They have a tweeter and a woofer, which is 3.5 inches. I'm actually going to keep these for a project. I'm actually going to make a homemade 2.1 system with those Sony woofers and that. And if we go over here, actually I'll do that last. We'll go over here. Here's a snap circuit speaker with a resistor. It's a 1/2 watt. It's paper cone. And so here's a piezo tweeter. It's actually it's a real piezo tweeter, and it does make sound, very crisp. I've had this without crossover and actually still lasts. I'm kind of surprised. Here's all the Sony woofer. It's a rubber surround, a very supple rubber surround. Here's a set of RCA tweeters that came with that matching RCA subwoofer. The dust caps are unfortunately pushed in. Plastic dust cap, plastic cone, closed back. And it's actually got it's 10 watts, 6 ohms. I kept these for a purpose. And you can finally look at this thing. Here's a what I call a mega woofer. It actually looks more awesome than it is now. It actually has a very large dust cap because I glue it on. This is part number. It doesn't have a wattage rating, but I can tell that's rated at 4 ohms. Because a lot of these computer woofers are rated at 4 ohms. I mounted this kind of neat. I actually had the magnet facing the backwards and the cone facing the inside of the enclosure. There's a lot of resonance, so I stuck my winter hat inside. I know that sounds ridiculous, but that was where the original amp was. Angry Birds duct taped it a while back. Here's a pair of 8-inch Foster woofers. These are actually out for temporary because I need to replace the surrounds. As in that other video, they're cloth and they've hardened, and I need to replace them with foam or rubber surrounds. But it's got a paper pulp material, paper cone, paper dust cap, 4-inch, and a cloth spider. These also have the extra ferrite core. I really hate when companies do that, but these are made by Foster. Came out of a set of Fisher STV013A cabinets. In fact, all my Fisher speakers are made by Foster. The tweeters are made in Korea, and the woofers are made in Japan. Now we've reviewed all the speaker drivers. I think I got more. I had a lot more at one point, but all of them ended up getting blown and etc. Actually, a few of them ended up getting sold with projects. Alright, so let's go over to the boxed speakers, or the enclosed speakers. Here's a pair of vintage air suspension speakers. They have a very, this is actually laminate, which is actually kind of glued onto real wood. Not the best way to do it, but it actually works well. There's an Alnico 6-inch speaker in there with a wizard cone. And there's no brand name on these. I've been meaning to do a lot of research on these. I got some 90s music playing on the radio, but I've been needing to know no research on these speakers at all because they're very rare. The only thing they say is air suspension. I'm assuming they came from a record player. Oh, I also forgot to review these. I had a bunch of these at one point. Here's a set of headphone speakers. This was actually going to get blown up, but we couldn't because it was really hard with 4 leads on there. Don't know why they did that, but I'm not going to blow this up. I don't blow any speakers up anymore. I used to blow a lot of speakers. I blew a set of Kenwood woofers, which are actually on my channel. My very, very earlier videos. This is a Sony, came out of a Sony headphone that was really cheap at Big Lots. $5. And we got some crisscross going. Don't know why, but anyway, continuation on these. This is the vintage Ampex from the speaker from the 70s. It's got a real laminate finish. Very tough. And it's actually got these little air vents, which are actually is blocked up by fiberglass insulation. This cord reminds me of a power cord, or like lamp cord. Like if you have an old vintage lamp, then it definitely reminds you of that. Like my grandmother, but it's the 516 wide range speaker system. It actually does have a whizzer. Paper cone speaker, paper surround. I clear coated it with silicone to prevent it from vibration fatigue. Alright. Here's a Realistic MC1800 speaker. This actually had some history. It was made in 1985 by Realistic Tandy Corporation. It was a long time before Realistic eventually changed its name to Optimus. I can't get this cover off. There we go. And it was actually a long time before a Realistic changed its name to Optimus and started making some different products. It's got an 8-inch woofer, very small magnet. It's a ceramic magnet and a stamped steel frame. Tweeter. It's like a 2-inch. It's the cover. And these came out in 1985. Unfortunately, I don't have a pair of these, but they're 50 watts max. Alright, at least this one is. Now, here's a set of Magnavox surround sound speakers, which are two-way, but they're the fake kind of two-way. There is a rectangular port. And for some reason I can't get this cover off. I don't want to pause the video, but like I always do. They have a fake tweeter, which is a piezo tweeter. It's actually not fake. They actually do make sound, but they're actually, it's so quiet that the speaker, the main speaker, drowns it out. But, and if you watch V Westlife's videos, he definitely has a video. His earlier videos is about that, because he had a pair of sound design speakers and they used piezo tweeters and they actually did make sound. The rectangular port on the back, these are 25 watts. They use the same kind of Easttech drivers that these use. Same exact model, but these aren't shielded. Those are, well, those have an extra ferrite core glued on. These actually have a real cup magnet. Here's a set of 4-inch intercom speakers. These are like from the 70s. It actually doesn't use an Alnico magnet. It's actually more of a, it looks like a dome-shaped magnet. But anyway, here's the wire. It's kind of neat. And here's the wire for the other one. Unfortunately, it's not too short. That's the only unfortunate thing about these, is that they're really not too short. And to show you, that's actually all the speakers I have that I want to show you. I actually have a lot more speakers. I have those, my lane listening speakers, and I also have those. And like I said before, those. So if somebody want to take this apart, and I'll show you the speaker drivers in there. I actually have a lot more speakers than all this, believe it or not. And even that's a speaker in over there. I'm actually going to take that apart because I don't have no use for it anymore, or I might use it. I'm not sure. But I also actually no. I'm gonna pause the video. I'm actually gonna make another video showing my main stereo system and all these that I use. So I'm going to pause the video and I'll make another video soon. Thanks for watching. It's quite a lot of speakers.